Men making over $100,000 per year, how hard was it to get over that threshold? Honestly, much harder to get from 50 to 80. After that, it was a pretty smooth transition. I just had to wait until 100k wasn't actually that much money anymore. Yep. By the time I got past that threshold and to 110k, my money was going less far than the 85, 92k I was on 3 years prior. Inflation can F off. Started working at a high-end restaurant. Took me 2 years to go from essentially a busboy to the head bartender, which isn't exactly a normal route towards 6 figures. But the only threshold that was hard was trading more of my time to work extra shifts to clear that amount. Wait, you clear 100k as head bartender? Literally had to change jobs. I fought tooth and nail to get into the 80s and 90s. Then expected my annual raise to get me to $101k. Nope, $99. 985. I got a new job 3 months later. Starting salary $100. 000. Yes, I'm that petty. Switching jobs is what did it for me. I started in tech at 50k. This was a huge step up for me from an hourly position where I was maybe making 20k. Then I realized new hires were starting off higher. I learned it would be way harder to get to a better number through raises than it would be to just start at that number at other companies. So I started switching jobs every 2 years. My salary basically went 50, 70, 85, 105, 120, 160. But I also learned that at 160, a lot was expected. Overtime helped those less experienced. Way more work. So I went into another company back at 120. This for me has been the sweet spot. They get a very experienced person for 120 who can handle pretty much any tech related issue. It's a steal for them, and they try to keep me happy. On my end, I set up the tech, so it's basically maintenance free from me. I work from home, so I basically work 10 hours on a heavy month. Every once in a while, I'll get bored and randomly start a project for the company without letting them know. Once it's done, I'll present it as an idea and begin implementing it. Even though it's already done, then I'll get it out faster than expected and get a bonus. I'll then spend a few months testing for bugs and improving it. Rinse and repeat. I make less, but if you look at it as what I make per hour worked, I make more than I ever dreamed I would. Easily over 1k an hour. I've taken some of that money, invested in real estate, and make passive income on rental properties. So now I have time and money, not filthy rich, but a great balance of living very comfortably for minimal effort. Getting there was an uphill battle, but once I got there I looked back and saw my own mistakes were slowing me down. If I was smarter I would have gotten there a couple years faster. Could you expand on those mistakes? I passed up a relocation and promotion to stay with a girl who eventually dumped me because I wasn't willing to pay her bills for her. I should have put the money first. It was super hard until it wasn't. I started as a junior engineer making maybe 45k and working 65-hour weeks. I had to keep quitting and finding new jobs to make more money because my industry has the idea that plus 50/hours is a great raise. I job hopped for about 8 years before landing a middle management position. Now I work way less and my salary is much bigger, and so are my bonuses. Moral of the story is, don't listen to what your boss says. They are paid way more than you think and work less than you do. As a travel nurse it was insanely easy. Once I entered the business world, every job since then has been $150k plus. How do you go from nurse to business? I used MedRups. It costs about $15 a month and you can load up multiple resumes and use a drag and drop to apply to jobs. Single with no kids, and I had been a traveler for years, so I was used to moving anywhere. The problem is, 95% of these jobs want cath lab experience and all of mine was IQ and I finally landed a job with a company producing IQ monitoring, and just like everyone says, once you get your foot in the door it's all good. I'm on my third job in 5 years, and I'm almost hitting $200k, depending on bonus. As long as you make your quota they don't care. If you're a job jumper, I also have a company car and they pay my car insurance, which will cost me another $6,000 a year in New York City. It took 3 degrees and 29 years of experience for me to get there. Professor, scientist. Yes, I was an academic. I worked as a school teacher and school district administrator. Don't shy away from the trade unions if you're the type to work with your hands. I'm a union iron worker in New York City. I had zero knowledge of construction when I started. My apprenticeship was 5 years, and as a journeyman I make over 100k. And that's just from hourly and vacation pay. Our total package, hourly wage, vacation pay, annuity, health insurance, other benefits etc. is $108/HR. It was tough starting out at 1/3 of journeyman rate, but my wife and I made it work and I stuck it out. As an apprentice I paid $30.50/month in union dues and received 4 years of classroom and hands-on training after work 2 days a week, 10 months a year, plus some Saturdays. I have over 24 federal, state, and city certifications. And don't think we allow slouches, moochers and abusers either. The trades are actively engaged in weeding out those people to be able to stand by our reputation and move away from union stereotypes of the past. My group started with 100 individuals. By graduation 5 years later only 63 were left. Statistically our reputation for quality of work, safety, and on-time completion of projects vs non-union speaks for itself. I basically went to college for construction for $30.50 a month. Support your local unions and look into the trades if you want to make a solid living without incurring student loan debt or potentially spending years on a slow upward grind of internship and inter-office politics. Not hard, but I live in Switzerland and it is not that much here since everything is so expensive. I'm a teacher. I'll never see a $100k salary. I married it. You can make more money in a day than you can your entire life with this one trick. It took an entire PhD and a couple years of consulting experience to break $100,000. So that's something like 7 years. Worked my ass off the whole time. It's about 4 years later, and I'm close to doubling it. I still sorta work my ass off, but it's less than before. Damn PhDs are hella hard. Feel the only one that pays really well is MD or DO. Doctor salaries are like 300k plus. It wasn't too tough for me in terms of workload, but there was a lot of luck and a few key decisions involved. I first broke 6 figures at either 29 or 30. Can't remember exactly where. I'm at $160k base now, plus cash and stock bonuses worth about $50k at 31. The 2 biggest factors have been making sure I'm well liked and making sure I'm in the right place at the right time. For example, I felt my growth stagnate at a not very successful company, so I left for a rival that was on the upswing. That's making sure I'm in the right place at the right time. I quickly worked to establish a positive reputation at this new company. Often, that's doing great work, but a lot of the time, it's got nothing to do with my actual work. It's forgiving honest mistakes other people might make. It's remembering a life event a coworker told you about and asking them for an update. It's sharing ideas with the CEO because you know that's what he respects. Once I knew I was well liked, I made it clear comp was the #1 factor for me. I wasn't afraid to express disappointment when I felt shortchanged with a raise. I was also willing to entertain competing offers, which my company has matched or beat. I did nothing to hit the threshold. I do not know how long it will last, but it's all due to the fact my co-workers call in sick or quit at levels never seen before, leaving me with plenty of gravy to soak up. It literally keeps falling on my plate. Go after that gravy with the ladle, my dude/dudette. I'm sure with that turnover and call-outs doesn't make your job easy. I'm happy you're being financially compensated for it. Not very. I had a 10-year plan when I got into the career I'm in and hit the 6-figure threshold in 8. I burnt almost my entire 20s working though. So it really depends whether you have the stomach for that kind of life. Not very, and burning through your 20s working feels contradictory. Is this to say that you don't find that level of work hard, but it is a lot of work? I make over $100 grand as a RAPS driver. All it takes is being full-time for 4 years. Meanwhile I have 2 degrees under my belt and barely making 60k. It was hard in the beginning. I switched careers pretty late in my 20s. Took a big chance by taking an internship over a management program that I knew I would hate. Prayed on that decision a lot, but knew that I would be hating the more set plan. Worked super hard in that internship. Like late hours every night. Anxiety. It was a bad company run by 2 guys who didn't really know how to run a company. And one of the owners had severe mental issues and took it out on everyone. Think of every hour violation. We didn't have hours going on every day. Then I got out of that and joined a bigger company, and it was much smoother sailing. Kept jumping for better pay and positions. Took a year off to travel. Got a job midway through 4 when I came back and kept jumping. There's been some ups and downs, but Lord willing and the universe coming together, it wasn't too bad. It in retrospect when good offers came in and I was able to take them. My tips: get the bag. Get your money. If you're in a bad situation, get out. It's not worth it. Take a pay cut even. At some level $5k is not a big loss over a year in salary. If you are incredibly angry or in a real bad spot, be the nicest and coolest dude in the office. It'll take you a long way. Just be a cool fun dude that doesn't add extra BS to any project. Make your boss's life easier and play your role to the best of your ability instead of trying to play other roles. And figure out what that role is. Maybe it's the organizer. Maybe it's the positive person. Maybe it's the tough convo dude. Whatever. Find out what you need to fill on a team outside of your job description and play to make yourself valuable. Mechanical engineering degree. Worked off with health damaging stress for shitty automotive company for 4 years, but got good experience. Quit and searched for new job for 8 months living on savings. Moved into parents' house and started working at MCDS. Landed field service engineer position, hourly. With lots of hours, but generally low stress. Over 6 figures. Now I'm 29 yo. 4 years later trying to transition into a 6-figure salary position. Also in the engineering field. Would you mind sharing more about what you do for field service? Most of my in-field experience has been very high stress, but I also enjoy the hands-on activity a lot. Making a little over $250k/year as a nurse anesthetist. Took about 9 years to get here, and GRANA program was the worst experience of my life as well as my classmates. Despite being in a supportive program, many of classmates have agreed they'd never do this again if they knew what it entailed. Money is nice and gives a cozy living, but looking back I would have picked a different career with less money. Why is it so bad? I'm a perfusionist and school sucked, but it was worth it, and I would do it over again in a heartbeat if I had the choice. I wish someone would have told me earlier in my career, you want to make more money? Change jobs, companies, every 2 to 3 years. Your experience is worth more as an external candidate than an internal candidate to a company. It seems counterproductive, but companies know they've got their current employees on the hook, and when you promote from within, you get away with offering much less money to a current employee than to someone in from outside. My union is currently negotiating for raises of 11% this year and 10% next. It's a decent job, low stress 95% of the time. But I'm 28 and currently just under 60k. If they get those raises I'll probably stick around a while longer and reap some of the other benefits I get after X years. But if they end up conceding down to sub-inflationary raises again, I think I'd just be better off hopping, foregoing the benefits for more money. A degree in engineering and about 3 years of experience. Which engineering? Software is probably the easiest one. A lot of this depends on location. Col vs col. Also depends on your lifestyle, goals, side hustle. Some in engineering graduate at over 100k. Some start at 50k. Income is just the amount coming in. The next question is how you plan spend it all. YOLO or reinvesting in the future. Needs more context. $100k in SoCal, New York City, or Seattle is not a huge feat, while hitting that point in the southern US is a career-long goal for some. We need some new measure of income that takes deductions and varied costs such as housing into account. I mean, I guess we could say disposable income, but who offhand actually knows what their disposable income is? If I earn 60k living where I do in North England, I'd probably have more disposable income than someone earning 100k in New York or some other insanely expensive state. I had to go to law school. I'm 29 and make $170k now. Every time I work with our staff attorneys, I think I should have gone to law school. I'm not insinuating that they don't earn their keep. Rather, I see people who are low stress and spend most of the day helping other employees navigate contracts. Growing up, you were led to believe attorneys spent 100% of their time in courtrooms, locked in intense arguing with opposing counsel. Yeah, I never go to court. I'm not that kind of lawyer. The vast majority of what I do involved contracts and business dealings, and the rest is regulatory compliance.